Welcome back, guys, to Ace Attorney Investigations 2, Prosecutors Gambit, where last episode, having started an investigation of the Committee for Prosecutorial Excellence's room, we skirted around the body while it was being examined until another prosecutor arrived on the scene, Franziska von Karma. Her presence allowed us to access to the body as we made a link between the corsage on it and the one in Kay's possession, as well as her promised book being on the scene, before Eustace Winner and Gavel showed up, with the duo knowing the deceased, Rosie Ringer, as we continue our verbal sparring. Let's see, so the wound on her head is from when she fell over after she died. It's pretty serious head wound for falling over, but you can't get pretty serious head wounds for that. Eustace? It was the candle holder that killed her, huh? And she died sometime late last night. Oh. What now, Gavel? It's very kind of you to share the coroner's findings with everybody, Eustace. But perhaps you should leave it there. We wouldn't want you to strain your voice after all. No, that would be a tragedy. Okay, we just got the coroner's findings. To be honest, unless I see it written to me in an official sheet versus spoken word, I'm not sure I can believe it. I don't know. Initial findings of Dr. Hilda Hertz. Cause of death, stab wounds to chest. Head injury sustained post-mortem. I don't know. Anyway, that settles it. We need to arrest Kay Faraday. What? What the heck are you talking about? I think Eustace's meaning was very clear. Miss Faraday is the murderer. Really? And though she is dressed differently than usual, this young lady covered in bandages is Miss Faraday herself, correct? Oh, you can tell. You really mean to arrest her here and now? If you do, then I'll be forced to object, loudly and forcefully. And as if further confirmation were needed, there it is. The committee was right to call your conduct into question. It is questionable in the extreme. Please, Mr. Edgeworth, just go. It's fine. Fine? This is anything but fine, Kay. I still don't remember anything. So maybe I did do it. Maybe I killed that poor woman and I just don't remember. The goddess smiles on those who confess their sins. It is her wish that our confessions cleanse us. She applauds your commitment to the cause of justice, as do I. Judge Gavel, Eustace, if you really intend to arrest Kay, could you at least explain your grounds for doing so? I, for one, certainly don't intend to yield, not until I've seen some evidence to support your accusations. Allow me! Prepare to be hit with a face full of deductive genius, Edgeworth! Sure you don't want to whip him again? Why I think Kay did it. They call it the human race because somebody has to win it, and that somebody is me. What? That's not relevant. I won this race too. I saw it before anybody else did. Kay Faraday is the murderer, no doubt about it. She snuck into the committee chamber looking to do some of her trademark great thieving, which means that nobody but her could have killed Rosie Ringer. Deductive genius. That was a total mess. And if Detective Gumshoe is saying that, you know it must be bad. I asked you to explain your grounds for arresting Kay, yet you have explained exactly nothing. True, but we haven't seen any proof of her innocence either. It's alright, Kay. Mr. Edgeworth will pull off a miracle somehow. You just gotta believe in him. My deductions aren't acts of divine intervention, you know. Well, Miles Edgeworth, I'd hate for you to disappoint me. But in the event that you do, I will be sure to freely let you know. Okay. Why I think Kay did it. We have to press this first statement. They call it the human race because somebody has to win it, and that somebody is me! Hold it! There are two major flaws with the statement you just made. Flaws in a statement of mine? I don't make mistakes. It's literally impossible. And that's a third flaw right there. You're just trying to confuse me. It's a cheap tactic even for you. Well, it won't work because I'm the world champion of not getting confused, so there. I won this race too. I saw it before anybody else did. Kay Faraday is the murderer, no doubt about it. I want to object to the previous end statement, though.
Hold it!
Would you mind explaining the grounds for your accusation in a little more detail? Well, if you insist, prepare to be wowed, Edgeworth. I figured it all out before anybody else even had the chance. Before I even saw the scene. No, before I even heard about the case. I knew it right away. She did it. She's the murderer. It can't be anybody else. Ah! Your grounds. Yes, sorry. I was just getting to that. She snuck into the committee chamber looking to do some of her trademark great thieving.
Hold it!
Oh, really? And what was it that she was trying to steal? Well, a file. A very particular file. Oh, one pertaining to your professional conduct, in fact, Mr. Edgeworth. So you're saying that I'm the reason. And you can prove that she needed this file badly enough to steal it.
Overruled.
Oh, there'll be no need to go into that. Will there, Mr. Prosecutor? No, that, won't be necessary. What? No, just tell Francisca. What? Please, Mr. Winner, continue. I think she's somewhat more reasonable now. She's standing by our side. If she heard it, then she'd realize that there's some kind of conspiracy. Which means that nobody but her could have killed Rosie Ringer.
Hold it!
And you have proof that it could only have been Kay who committed the murder. Nope. Then might I suggest you try looking into other possible suspects with all due haste. For that, I believe, would be the winning approach here. The winning approach?
Overruled.
According to the reports we've received, the police have found no signs of anyone else's involvement. So you're accusing Kay based on that alone? A little tenuous, even for you? And suggesting that there are other possible suspects when there clearly aren't, isn't? If only I had something that could prove Kay didn't do it. This is obviously a setup, plain and simple. You don't have to... It's alright, Kay. The truth will come out, I promise. I just need you to give me some time. Oh, okay. Kay isn't capable of murder. There's no way she killed Miss Ringer. But I have to prove that somehow, or she'll remain a suspect. I mean... everyone's capable of murder. Like, truly, truly. It's just... some people have much larger boundaries that have to be pushed and passed before they would even think of it. Kay's definitely one of those. Right, I'm thinking... because it's just... did the murder... Eustace bragging about self. This next statement is she snuck into the committee chamber looking to some of her trademark great thieving. And then, which means that nobody but her could have killed Rosie Ringer. So she did the murder, I'm so brilliant, and a bit more of an ambiguous statement, maybe? But I can't, it's not a press. I mean, we can't deny she was here. I'm pretty sure we can't deny that she had a link to the victim, so that sucks too. We also now know that the committee chamber is just below the viewing platform. And there was somebody next to that tree over there. Kay's recollections have her being pushed off the building, but she couldn't have possibly been. I think I know what happened there. See, here's my issue. I'm guessing it's this keycard because, of course, she snuck into the committee chamber when it actually has keycard security, and so therefore you need a keycard to enter it. But I think I've already seen an alternate route at this point in time. But, of course, do what the game says or what the game thinks you know at this point, rather than you making your own deductions further on.
Objection!
Are you familiar with this room, Mr. Winner? It certainly sounds like you are. What can I say? Winners know where winners go. I'm number 1 and 2 and 3. In other words, the majority of your work is second, if not third rate. Why do you always have to make fun of me? You can take it as a slight if you wish, but the fact remains that you seem unfamiliar with this key card. Who do you take me for? Of course I'm familiar with it! You need one of those to get in here! Don't you? Have you no shame? Ah! Mr. Winner, do you really even suspect Kay? Of course I do! She did it! Faraday's the killer! Then perhaps you can tell us how Kay got into such a secure room as this, without a key card. You know, there was yes. A masterful summary. Now, as we know, only members of the committee have key cards, therefore only they can enter. Precisely. Why is she agreeing with me? Please take a look at this. I had security pull the data earlier. As you can see, the door to this room was opened at 12:52 a.m. with Miss Ringer's keycard. So who's in the other slot? We cannot know for certain, of course. But who's to say the culprit didn't enter the room with Miss Ringer? Oh, okay. And then kill her over some sort of subsequent disagreement. It's certainly a plausible theory, but that's all it is. For one, it would require the victim and a murderer to have known one another. Oh no, we don't have evidence about that. Yeah, Kay didn't know the woman. I'm sure of it.
Overruled.
How can you possibly be sure of such a thing? That's pure speculation on your part, detective. There is no place for guesswork in the courtroom or at a crime scene. Hard evidence is what is required. In that case, are you suggesting that you have said hard evidence to support your theory? Evidence that Kay Faraday and Rosie Ringer knew one another? But of course. What? I have here a letter. Dr. Hertz found it in the victim's chest pocket. Another of the victim's possessions, and you kept this to yourself until now. You planned for this, didn't you? Is that why? It was the candle holder that killed her, and she died sometime late last night. What now, Cavell? It's very kind of you to share the coroner's findings with everybody, Eustace. But perhaps you should leave it there. We wouldn't want you to strain your voice after all. Shall I read it for you? Rosie, thanks so much for agreeing to help with my plan. Now we can both get what we want. Good luck getting your revenge for what happened 12 years ago. Kay. Ooh, what happened 12 years ago? This would seem to indicate pretty strongly that the two of them were accomplices, wouldn't you say? Accomplices in a plot to steal from the very room in which we are standing. No. Wait, so your principal suspect is Miss Kay Faraday for the second crime as well as Miss Ringer's murder. Victim's letter data jotted down in my organizer. I'm the principal suspect. Don't listen to her. It's all lies, all of it. You're not like that. You never do any of the stuff they're accusing you of. Then how would you explain the letter, detective? Unlike Mr. Winner, I suspected that Judge Gavell herself had some proof to support her accusation. But I didn't expect it to be quite so definitive. Nicely done, Gavell! Thank you, Eustace.
Hold it!
We're not done here yet. I still have questions and you better have answers. Would you mind if I handled this, Eustace? Be my guest! Have fun arguing Edgeworth into the ground! I can't let them steamroller me on this. I have to find a way to take back the advantage. Kay's letter. As the letter more than adequately proves, Miss Faraday and Miss Ringer were acquainted. It seems Miss Faraday had asked for Miss Ringer's help in a plot of some kind. But for whatever reason, their alliance must have broken down. Miss Ringer lost her life in the resulting disagreement, but she had one last card to play. The letter she kept safe in her left chest pocket, which spells out the name of her killer. She's good. Better than ever, even. But you can take her down, Mr. Edgeworth. Yes, of course. Don't do this out of pride, Miles Edgeworth. If you're going to fail, do it on somebody else's time.
Hey, whose side are you on, sir?
There is only one side to be on, Scruffy. The side of the truth.
Looks like the kid's got something to say.
Well, if there's only one side to be on, then it has to be on the winning. Ah! To be honest, I wouldn't say that this kid has anything to say. Probably just give something up. Quiet, you. My thoughts exactly. Excellent. Kay's letter. As the letter more than adequately proves, Miss Faraday and Miss Ringer were acquainted.
Hold it!
What exactly was the nature of their relationship? Miss Faraday was grateful for Miss Ringer's cooperation, just as the letter says. I think that more than adequately describes it, don't you? Now, as I was saying, it seems Miss Faraday had asked for Miss Ringer's help in a plot of some kind.
Hold it!
Can you tell us any more about this plot? The letter implies a theft. And it was written by your friend Faraday, making her the prime suspect. Case closed.
Objection!
Anybody can forge a letter. It's not conclusive proof of anything.
Overruled.
I also seem to recall Miss Faraday referring to herself as a great thief on more than one occasion. She's on sabbatical. How can you be sure of that? It's unlikely she would tell you if she had resumed her activities, surely. Perhaps she took up stealing again and simply chose to keep it from you. I can't prove that either way right now, and she knows it. As I was saying, it seems Miss Faraday and Miss Ringer were involved in a plot to steal something. But for whatever reason, their alliance must have broken down.
Hold it!
Whatever reason? Could you be a little more specific? Not at the moment. But I am sure our investigation will uncover any number of possibilities. Whereas your lack of proof that Miss Faraday is innocent continues to be a major problem for you.
Objection!
I concede that some of the evidence would seem to point to Kay's involvement, but none of it is anywhere near conclusive.
Overruled.
A letter explicitly outlining a connection to the victim, backed up by supporting evidence from the scene. How much more conclusive could it be? And what's more, where is your proof to the contrary? Miss Ringer lost her life in the resulting disagreement, but she had one last card to play.
Hold it!
Is there any actual evidence to show that Kay killed Miss Ringer? You don't give up, do you? What do you call that letter, huh? Evidence! Duh! I wouldn't be so sure. For one thing, it doesn't mention anything resembling a murder plan. It doesn't? Oh, I guess not her. Or motive? Aha! But it will once we hold a flame to it and reveal the secret writing. I wouldn't place too much hope in that revealing anything, Eustace. And we don't need it to. Not when we have... the letter she kept safe in her left chest pocket, which spells out the name of her killer.
Hold it!
Wow, if my name was just in someone's pocket randomly, would that make me a killer, even if it was in, like, Zimbabwe or something? We were able to examine the pocket in question for ourselves. And you want to know why the letter wasn't there, I assume? It is simple! The police's number one priority was handing it over to me. The victim had kept it on the left side of her chest, next to her heart, in other words, to indicate her heart's desire that her killer be brought to justice. I have little interest in sentimental speculations about Miss Ringer's desires, but one thing does interest me. The fact that you said the letter was in the victim's left chest pocket, and somehow isn't holy. It is the truth, as the goddess is my witness. That is where the letter was found, there is no doubt about it. The same place where she was stabbed with a candelabrum. I think that might prove to be a very important clue. I can't imagine Kay writing a letter like that. But unless we can get more out of Judge Gavelle, I don't think we'll be able to prove that she didn't. I should try pressing the good judge on some of her statements and see if she'd let something slip. Well, we pressed her on every statement and nothing came out. But to be honest, it's the letter that we need to get out here. So we need to present... what? Stab wounds to chest. We've got details, okay. Cause of death is a set of 3 puncture wounds on the left side of the chest inflicted by a candle holder. Victim also suffered a head injury post-mortem. However, remarks prominent burn mark on the back of the victim's right hand. Sure, so it's just we need to present something with the fact that the stab wounds are on the left-hand side, which is probably this.
Objection!
It doesn't match up with the letter. So the victim kept the most vital clue of all closest to her heart. How very touching. The voices of the dead fight to be heard, and even then they don't always reach us. But her voice rang loud and true, and it told us that Miss Faraday is her killer. I think you may have misheard her, Your Honor. Or perhaps an evil spirit was trying to mislead you. Hey, you take that back! Perhaps we should try listening to the words of the coroner's report instead. By all means. If I recall correctly, the victim was stabbed on her left side. No! How did you only just come to that conclusion? Yes, I'm afraid so. You claim that the letter was found in the victim's left chest pocket. Right where she was stabbed by the candle holder. Yeah, if even Gumshoe's got it. Gumshoe's amazing, anyway. He's like a savant, I know it. Indeed. 3 puncture wounds to the chest and yet not one to the letter. Miraculous, no? Well, Judge Gavelle, how do you explain that? Because I can think of one explanation. That the letter was deliberately placed there after the fact in order to cast suspicion on Kay. Someone went to a lot of trouble to create the crime scene we see before us. And that someone is the real culprit, who will most certainly also forge this letter. No! It's clear that the culprit intended to frame Kay by means of that letter. And you fell for it hook, line, and sinker.
Objection!
No, Faraday did it! The letter it was in her other pocket. Yes.
Huh? Seriously?
Oh, left chest pocket thing was a mistake. Whoever reported it must have meant their left. Ah! Got double hit. Stop your foolish floundering, you foolishly foolish fool. Or are you just that incurably foolish? Why do you keep whipping me? And stop making fun of my deductions. Ah! There, I saved you the trouble of disciplining him. Yes, even though I had no intention of doing so. The letter is stained with blood, which suggests it had indeed been placed somewhere on her left side. Therefore, I doubt there was some sort of mistaken report. Not unless that report was given by you. Gavelle, say something! No objections? Good. Then allow me to continue. So we have established the existence of a second suspect. No, we haven't. The murderer had to get in here, remember? Who else could have gotten in apart from Faraday and Ringer? Whoever it was would have needed a key card. Judge Gavelle proposed that the killer entered the room together with the victim. But what if there is something questionable about the very basis of the theory itself? This piece of evidence points to another suspect other than Kay. I mean, a person who could have been lying in wait in the room for... Who is this person? They had to wait for 2 hours and a bit. But still, someone else was here earlier. Someone else unknown.
Take that!
Look again at the keycard record provided by Judge Gavelle a short while ago. As already noted, the victim's keycard was used at 12:52 a.m. But you will note that someone else's keycard is also listed. A mystery person who could have entered beforehand and lay in wait for the victim, you mean? This other person entered at 10:15 p.m., so it's certainly not outside the realm of possibility. Except, I'm afraid it is.
And where's your evidence, Your Honor?
My evidence? I am the evidence detective. Oh, so you're above being a suspect, are you? Yeah, totally. It was my keycard. Then why omit it? There's nothing suspicious about a committee member entering the chamber as I please. Is there? I would argue there's something suspicious about a committee member omitting their name on the list if there's nothing suspicious. Perhaps not, but that's also not the exonerating evidence you seem to think it is. Unless you can also prove that you yourself didn't murder your colleague.
Overruled!
What utter nonsense! What would I have had to gain from killing her?
Objection!
I am sure you know how I'm going to answer that, Your Honor. I believe further investigation will shed light on any motives you might have had.
Overruled!
I am a faithful servant of the goddess. Why would I ever resort to an act of crime? I used my keycard, that much is true, but my reason for entering this room is far from questionable. Then perhaps you'd care to tell us why. I had business here in the committee chamber. There were certain preparations to make.
Preparations? Sounds pretty suspicious to me.
I am not at liberty to share what I was preparing for. But I am sure Prosecutor Edgeworth can make an educated guess. My hearing. She must have been busy gathering the documents they were going to use against me. To relieving me of my badge. Alright, children. That's enough. Who's this? It's good to keep our skills and our tongues sharp, especially when we're young. But that'll do for now. Who is this? You look so dumb. Oh my god, you look so dumb. Is that just a billion prosecutor badges on you? What?
I am the prosecutor of all prosecutors.
It's not even the beard and hair, it's just the outfit, the way he walks. Is he ripped, by the way? Does he have a six-pack? Wow! This is a design and a half. What on earth?
Ah, really? Takes me back to the days of my youth, back when I would wrangle with a certain detective. He disappeared, you know. I hope he's out there somewhere, living his best life.
You what? That's a lot of tears, man. You have to wring your beard.
You'll have to forgive me. It's just, I get so emotional. The tears, I can't stop them.
Chairman Winner, what? Chairman Winner.
Winner. That's not how I reacted. Ah, Verity, my girl. You need to, like, open them a bit. Do you ever stop working? Your dedication puts us all to shame. And is this young Francisca I see before me? Dear child, when did you get so big?
Uncle Winner, it's been far too long.
And so formal. I thought we were like family. You used to sit on my knee and shout, Uncle Winner, at the top of your little lungs. Ah, but time goes by so very fast. One can't help but shed a tear. Dad, what are you doing here? What am I doing here? A committee member has been murdered, and you're in charge of the case, my boy. What is this? Bring your pops to work day?
Silence. Do you have any idea who he is? This man is practically the right hand of the goddess herself. A former chief prosecutor and the current chairman of the Committee for Prosecutorial Excellence.
Now, Verity. There's no need to bring all that up. I'm just a harmless old man, really.
Allow me to apologize for the detective's rudeness. I am...
Miles Edgeworth, correct. And your little subordinate Dick Gumshoe. There we go. I am Excelsius Winner. Excelsius! The father to this idiot boy, among other things.
Well, at least you recognize some truths.
My wife and I were so happy when he was born. And now she's gone too. Heaven only knows to where. Dad, you're here! Use my handkerchief! Thank you, son. You're a good boy, in your own silly way.
Like father, like son, I suppose. It was hard to say who's the bigger fool.
Well, Verity, how goes the investigation?
Thank you for asking, sir. We have identified a prime suspect, one Kay Faraday. We are currently trying...
Objection!
You don't have it nearly enough to make her your prime suspect, and you know it. Or have you forgotten what we just discovered about the letter?
Objection!
I told you! That was just a mix-up! They got the wrong pocket! And don't test my patience.
All right, that's enough. Let's all just calm down, shall we?
I'm sorry you had to see that, sir. My humblest apologies.
I think you all made your cases very clearly. All except for you, Eustace.
What?
But Dad! We are prosecutors, and it is our duty to identify suspects and bring them to justice. But I wouldn't dare call someone a suspect without evidence or a motive. Please, Mr. Edgeworth, I know all about your relationship to the accused. Vickers Phoebe seems pretty apt based on what I've heard. Kay's no criminal. She's helped us catch the bad guys loads of times. Much about this case is still unclear, sir. Please, you have to let us... Ah, it's heartwarming, really. The bonds of friendship are so strong among the young. What'd you just burn? But circumstances being what they are, I'm afraid those bonds won't be enough. Are you a firefly? What the heck is that supposed to mean? The prosecutor's office needs this case cleared up as quickly as possible. Time is oh so precious, and we have so little of it, and there are so many other cases. I'm sorry, but you understand, of course, don't you? Ah. All right, Miss Kay Faraday. Time to come along quietly.
Yes, sir.
You're not taking her. She's innocent, I tell ya.
To defy the chairman of the committee is to defy the law itself. It is an act so brazen, a hearing won't be necessary at all. Are you prepared for Mr. Edgeworth to lose his badge over this detective?
What? Yeah. So, either Kay goes down or Mr. Edgeworth loses his badge. What the heck am I supposed to do?
You'd use his badge to shield yourselves. Oh, how the committee too has fallen. I knew Francisca would understand.
Kay, you're innocent. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise.
Thank you. We've only known each other for a short while, but you've been very kind. And I'm sorry. Sorry for being a criminal. Your contrition has been noted, Miss Faraday, and will be conveyed to the goddess of justice.
Ah, what in the world should I do? When I was little, all I wanted was to be like my father. To become an attorney and fight for those who can't fight for themselves. But now, my fate is tied to that of this one tiny badge. One tiny badge against the life of a dear acquaintance. Who am I kidding? There's nothing to weigh up here.
I guess this is it. Goodbye, Mr. Edgeworth.
Hold it! Judge Gavelle, a moment, please.
Yes, what is it?
You absolute legend.
Your badge? What is the meaning of this?
I am returning it. From this day forth, I'm a prosecutor no longer.
Mr. Edgeworth! What are you doing? Miles Edgeworth, explain yourself right now. You're giving it all up. Just like that.
You can't mean it, sir. Tell me you're kidding. Please. If you're not a prosecutor anymore, then what does that make me? Private detective. Leave the force. Come join me. I have one duty, and one duty alone. To pursue the truth. If being a prosecutor means I must turn a blind eye to the very truth before me, then I will gladly shed the title to be free. I'll carve my own path, one I believe in. I won't let my search for the truth end here.
Objection!
Are you running away from the Von Karma? From me?
Say what you will, Francisca. You won't change my mind.
So you're leaving me behind again? I'll never forgive you for this. Never! No, this is all my fault. None of this would have happened if it wasn't for me.
Wait, Kay, don't go! You stay right where you are, detective. But sir! I'm not a prosecutor anymore. Don't say that! Where you go, I go, Mr. Edgeworth. I'm always there, right by your side. There's no need for you to do that now, detective. Simply focus on your job and do what you can. I need you on the inside. Well now, this is no good, is it? We've let a dangerous criminal run free. I try, and yet it's never enough.
There's no need to worry, sir. We'll set up a cordon. She won't get far.
She'd better not. I'll be very disappointed in you if she does.
You didn't want that to happen? Explain, Verity. No, there's definitely a conspiracy going on that me being lured there is supposed to be part of to unveil something else. Unfortunately, sometimes when you push too hard on something, something happens that you don't want to happen, like me leaving it behind entirely and there being no hearing that you definitely wanted to take place. But Edgeworth is a legend. He knows what matters most, the truth. And that he can cross party lines to do it. I didn't necessarily have to give up his prosecutor's badge, did he? I guess he does work for the government a fair bit, but still. Now, we are just a defense. Let's see how that turns out next time on Ace Attorney Investigations 2 Prosecutors Gambit. The gambit has been made. We have played our cards. Now it's time to find out what happens next time. I'll see you then for more. Bye-bye.